know for the final. So the formulas that should be known is, of course, the slope, and m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then the slope-intercept form, you got it, mx plus b, and we also had a point slope formula. Which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And the other, the most famous of them all, the quadratic formula, x equals opposite of b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Another formula would be the one of the right triangle, something you don't want to forget, the Pythagorean theorem, ABC, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And what other formulas? There's another Pythagorean. The only other thing I can think of, it's not really a formula, but it's the work problem, which is 1, I call it over a, that's the first person, time plus 1 over b, the second person, equals 1 over x if they work together. That's kind of another one you want to know. And what do we have here? The measure of a triangle is less than... what else? Complementary angles. What do they add up to? The sum of complementary angles, let's call them A and B. A plus B equals 90, and supplementary angles, they add up to what? 180. So 180 is really straight line. If you have A here and B there, A plus B would be 180. Yep. Okay, that's about all the kind of formulas we have. Can't think of anything else. I think 13 we already did. Let's take a look at 14 and on the review. 14 and the measure of a smaller acute angle in a right triangle. The measure of a smaller acute angle in a right triangle is 26 degrees less than the measure of the larger. Acute angles are angles that are smaller than 90 degrees. So we're talking about these two angles here because we know one is 90 degrees. So the larger acute angles, let's see, this is a larger and we know nothing about, so we call this X. The smaller of is 26 degrees less, x minus 26. Find the measure of the smaller angle. How would you do that now? What are we doing here?
You do x plus x minus 26 equals 90.
X plus x minus 26 equals 90. Or you could say, we usually don't say that, x plus x minus 26 plus 90 equals 180 if you're adding the right triangle there. We don't have to do that because we know one angle is 90. The other two have to add up to 90 as well. So this one's easier. 2x add 26, which is what? 116 divided by 2. Do we have a calculator? 116 divided by 2 is what? 58. So the question is, what was the question? Find the measure of the smaller angle. So I got the larger, x is the larger, that's 58 degrees. How do we find the smaller angle? 58 minus 26 is, I was just about to say it. 32 is the correct answer here. So always be careful what they want, because 58 is an answer here as well. Number 15. 15 is asking, find all numbers for which the expression x squared minus 5x minus 6 over x squared minus 4 is not defined. So in other words, that means you have to find the RVs. What are the RV? How do we find the restricted values?
You factor out x squared minus 4.
You take the denominator and set it equal to 0. Now you can either factor it, x minus 2 or x plus 2, and solve it that way. Or since we know square root property, you can add a 4, and you get x squared equals 4. Take the square root and get your answer that way. Either way, you get x minus 2 equals 0, so x is equal to 2. X plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 2. Either way, you get those two answers. So these are the restricted values. And since we're at it, let's practice one more time. What is the domain of this rational expression? Domain. If I make a number line, now what that means, what we just found is at negative 2, this graph is not defined, and at positive 2, that graph is not defined either. So that means we have no y value. It's defined to the left, in the middle, and to the right. How do we write that as domain? If we start to the left, that would be negative infinity, and we go to negative 2, union. There's a negative here. Union, and then in between, that would be negative 2 to 2, union 2 to infinity. So this is a 3-part domain. Okay, we did 16, I think, on Wednesday. Let's take a look at 17. X over x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 2 over x squared plus 3x plus 2. So chapter 5 really was probably the hardest chapter there is. First, you want to factor. Oh, I was saying, not even Charity is here. Thank you. I knew you would come. You wouldn't want to miss it. Okay, so we're doing number 17 from the review. This is a must-know problem. Subtraction with rational expressions. Okay, so how did we do this? Again, seems like it was like 10 years ago. I don't know, it seems such a long time ago, but it wasn't. And certain things seem like they were yesterday. That's just the way it goes. Okay, check your denominators and see which one's missing on one side, and then we're going to multiply both numerator and denominator by the missing factor. So if you look at the left-hand side, which factor are you missing compared to the right-hand side?
X plus 1.
X plus 1. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 1. And on the other side, we're missing
X plus 3.
x plus 3. Beautiful. So you have your denominator. Which order you write that makes no difference. So that's your common denominator. You don't touch this anymore. But in the numerator, you have to touch. You have to simplify. In this case, you got to distribute. So that gives you x squared plus x. Now be careful. You can think about this as a negative 2 times x, which is a minus 2x, and a negative 2 times 3, which is a negative 6. Watch your signs. Combine like terms. X squared minus x minus 6 all over x plus 3, x plus 2, x plus 1. Now, if you look at the answers here, that's not a choice, but it should trigger your memory. Oh, I may have to see if I can simplify this further. Can you? X squared minus x minus 6 can be reduced. So this can be factored. And now we can reduce common factors, so the 2a plus 1 and the 2a plus 1. And what about the a and the a squared? Well, a squared really means a times a. So we are allowed to reduce 1a with 1a. And now we're done reducing, and we have left in the numerator an a, and in the denominator the 2a minus 1. And that is it. Must know, look at complex fractions again. We did solve, I think we solved number 19, so let me find another equation. How about this one here? Solve 5 minus 8 over x plus 2 equals 4x over x plus 2. Similar problem college algebra students have to do. This 5 is over 1. Now this time we're solving. So again, the way I explained it is look for the missing parts. And the 5 over 1 is missing what? An x plus 2. Now that's all that's missing. Since we're solving, we can kind of cross out this. But before we can't see it anymore, what is the RV here, the restricted value? The denominator was x plus 2, if you said equal to 0, so the RV is x equals negative 2. So if this is your answer, then we have issues. Let's see what we get here. 5x plus 5 times 2 is 10, minus 8 equals 4x. Okay, what do I do next? Combine like terms, 10 minus 8 is 2. Subtract the 5x in this case because that's less work. 2 equals negative 1x. We don't want a negative 1x, we want a positive 1x. That means we're dividing both sides by negative 1. And that gives us x equals negative 2. Uh-oh, x equals negative 2. What does that mean? That means that is our restricted value. There is no solution. Oh, Charity, and everybody else who's actually watching this recording once I post it, ever since I made the change, there was something wrong with discussion 5. I know you've already done it, but I'm going to have to just delete it all out and opening back up. It didn't open. Nobody could do it. I don't know what I did. I did something. I got to delete all out. No, you don't have to do. I have the grades already for people who did it. I put them back in. And they may come back up automatically as it is, but I don't know. I don't know what I did. I tried to make it look good, but then I did something. So I'm going to send everybody an email and open it back up over the weekend. Let's do one more that actually isn't that easy. Like the one you have on the review and the one I just gave you. That is a little too easy for my taste. How about this one here? 25 over y minus 25 over y minus 2 equals 2 over y. Solve the equation. Well, let's find our v's first. There are 2. If you set your denominator equal to 0, one of the, both of them, they just say y, so y equals 0, there is your, how come you can't read that? I just wrote it. That's weird. It's on my screen, but not on the screen here. I knew something was odd. Did we lose internet? Bless you. There you go. Okay, let's try this again. Y equals 0. That's 1. Oops. But we have another denominator that says y minus 2 equals 0, so y equals 2. These are our restricted values. If one of them is the answer, we have no solution. Or maybe both. Who knows? Now, what are we doing here? We're going to multiply. What does the 25 need? Y minus 2. What does the other 25 need? A y, and the 2 needs a y minus 2. Because that's what's missing. The LCD is actually y times y minus 2. So now we have this taken care of. We don't need the denominator anymore. We're going to distribute 25y minus 50 minus 25y equals 2y minus 4. Okay, we can see that these guys cancel out. Let's add the 4 here. Negative 46 equals 2y. Divide by 2. Y is equal to negative 23. I think we've done that problem. Yeah, looks familiar. Okay. Cool. What's next here? We can mop the floor. Okay, Charity can do her homework in 2 hours. Brad can do his homework in 5 hours. How long if they work together? So Charity is 1/2. Brad's 1/5 equals 1 over x. Don't forget that setup. Now, this is multiplied by 5x, 2x, and 5 times 2 is 10. 5x plus 2x is 10. 7x is 10. Divide by 7. 10 divided by 7 is 1 point. So approximately 1.4 hours. Work together, you get it done way faster. Okay. Just wanted to point that out one more time. Here, number 22. Oh no, I skipped over. How about 20? 20 is 2m minus 5p equals 10, and you have to solve for p. Must no problem. How do you solve for p? What? I couldn't hear you. Subtract 2m. Negative 5p equals negative 2m plus 10, or 10 minus 2m. How you write? That's actually how they did it here on the answers. And now we're dividing by negative 5. Negative 5. They are not simplifying it. If you look at the answer, let me write that down. P is negative 2 minus 2m. B is P is 10 minus 2m all over negative 5. C is P 10 minus 2m over positive 5. And D is P equals 2 minus 2m. So they are not simplifying. You can simplify the 10 minus 5, which indeed is a negative 2. But remember, you also have to simplify the negative 2m over negative 5, which would be a positive 2m over 5, if you wanted to simplify it. So they don't even go there. Here's your answer. But a lot of students, of course, do 10 divided by 5 was negative 2, and then they just copy the minus 2m over. Don't even think about that. That's wrong. You have to divide everything on top by that negative 5. Okay, number 22. 22 is what we just did most recently. 3 plus 2i over 4 minus I. Simplify. What would you have to do here in order to simplify that? You multiply by the conjugate, which is 4 plus I. And don't you forget it. Multiply by the conjugate. You gotta get rid of the I in the denominator. So in the denominator, what you would get is 4 times 4 is 16, and minus I squared, which changes into plus 1. Okay, numerator works. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3i, plus 8i, plus 2i squared, which of course is a negative 2. Combining like terms, 12 minus 2 is 10, plus 11i all over 17. Now, that is C. That's exactly the way it is written here. The answers are listed here on the preview. So that's it. Number 23. Minus 5 plus 3i minus 2 times 6 minus 5i. My nose is itchy. Okay, if we clear the parentheses, negative 5 plus 3i, distribute the negative 2 is a negative 12 and a positive 10i. Now what? Combine like terms. Negative 5 minus 12 is a negative 17, and 3 and 10 is 13i. Done. You are. Do we have this answer? Yes, we do. Let me change the background. Ooh. Oh. I did it too early. Hold on. Oh, we can see it in purple. Here you go. Now. What did I do now? Oh, now everything is purple? I thought just the next slide. Ah. Not everything. Why is this purple? Totally out of order now. Okay. Huh. Weird. Let's just stick to a whiteboard before we go. Oh, let's see. Hold on. We're still purple. Okay. Whiteboard. Number 24. Negative 8 minus 4i all over 3 minus 5i. What do you do here? Multiply. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24 plus 40i minus 12i plus 20i squared, which of course changes into a negative 20. Like terms are negative 24, negative 20, negative 44, and 40 minus 12 is plus 28i. Watch your signs. The next one on 25 is solve. 3x squared plus 6x plus 5 equals 0. How would you want to solve this? Yeah, if you look at the answers, every single answer has a square root there, so it cannot be factored. Quadratic formula, opposite of b, plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. A in this case is 3, b is 6, and c is 5. Okay, let's plug it in. How about a beautiful blue? X equals, opposite of b, negative 6 plus minus 36 minus 4 times 3 times 5. Please use a calculator. All over 2 times 3. Okay. What do we get under the radical?
Negative 24.
4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. So what you have is 36 minus 60, please use a calculator, and that is negative 24 all over 6. This is not the answer. You got to simplify. How about the negative 24? How can you simplify the negative 24? Well, first of all, which perfect square goes into 24? 4, right? 4 times 6, it's actually a negative 4. So that would be a square root of negative 4 times the square root of 6. The square root of negative 4 is what?
2i.
2i radical 6. So that would be 2i square root of 6 all over 6. Let's take a look. That is not what I see here at all. Okay. We got to be able to simplify. Let me actually take a picture of this, of the answer, if I could. What is going on today? Now I can't move. Weird. Well, I guess not. Not taking a picture. Negative 6. I have to divide all 3 numbers by whatever they have in common, which is a 2. So that would be a negative 3 plus minus I square root of 6 all over 3. In this case, it would be the last choice. It will not let me move on to the next slide. Let's see what's going on here. There's some weird stuff going on. People, I'm just checking out we started with the formulas. But everything that I wrote on the whiteboard, I hope it recorded, is not there. Look at this, there's nothing there. I'm gonna get out of here.